It's past 7 now in Kiwi.
Jeff the Dude Dudas. Underwatertimes.com.
Here's with the top stories from anything that happens under the oceans all around the world. It is Jeff Dudas with us this morning. Morning, Jeff.
How you doing, Wammo?
Very, very well indeed. First up this morning, another one of those stories about something lost overboard.
This you hear actually a lot about these stories, losing something. This comes from San Simeon, California, which is on the Central Coast, one of the most beautiful spots in the world. A guy went out on the pier. He brought a video camera with him. His fiancée got down on one knee at the end of the pier, going to propose to her. Camera's rolling. He's so nervous, he drops the ring.
Ooh.
The ring falls on the pier, then falls into the water.
Oh, no way. Gosh.
Yeah, it's a custom-made ring. It's like 1.2 carats. So, several $1,000s ring.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do. He called Ocean Rescue. And so some divers came out to try to find it in the water. And evidently it's like 20 feet deep, so it's pretty shallow. Couldn't find it. The next day, some more divers come out. There's like the sheriff came out with divers. Couldn't find it. So this ring is now missing. So the question is, we've had these stories before where like a fish comes. They found fish with rings inside of them. So
that's right.
Their question is, did a fish come by because it's kind of shiny and bright, which evidently fish are attracted to? Did a fish come by and scoop it up?
So it still hasn't been found, and they're looking for it.
There's a $1,000 reward for it. No one has found it yet. So if you're along, and it fell right off the end of a pier, so it's not like it's not in the middle of the ocean somewhere. So in theory, there's probably a several $1,000 ring just floating around somewhere.
There was actually a chap, it was a story just a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago or so, in Wellington in New Zealand, where he was a diver and he lost his ring a year ago, and then he found it back in the same spot a year later, just the last month. So it does happen. It can happen.
So, maybe a fisherman or, who knows, a beachcomber will come up with this thing.
Yeah. Next story, a bit of a free diver. These guys are crazy. Now, what's this free diver up to?
I was following this story. This free diver, he was doing this for charity. He wanted to swim through this underwater cave off of the coast of Australia. This is in New South Wales. There was it's the largest underwater cavern in Australia, and he wanted to swim through it for charity. And this cavern is 120 meters long, and it's 25 meters underwater. And I'm just thinking, this is actually pretty deep and pretty long, and there's sharks who live in this cave. And so I followed this. He did it on the fourth try. He managed to do it. He's swimming through the cave, but he got stuck on the way out. There's like a chimney you have to swim up, and he had this giant monofin, and he got wedged in the rocks. And luckily, his son was following behind him, unwedged him. And the guy made it out to safety. Took 2 minutes and 40 seconds, which is actually pretty quick.
So let's be clear there, he's got no oxygen supply at all,
No, this is a single breath.
Wow. It's pretty astounding. 2 minutes 40. I don't know, how long can you hold your breath for?
I have a pool in the backyard, and I go down 5 feet, maybe a minute.
Maybe a minute?
Yeah, so this guy was 39 years old, relatively young guy, and again, it's not unusual. I think the record now for holding the breath was set in, I want to say 10, 12, maybe it's 12, up to 12 minutes now.
Yeah, quite long, isn't it?
So, it's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, finally, another story that proves that dolphins are very intelligent.
Yeah, and for those who are in fear of dolphins taking over the world, we had stories where they know how to use tools. We have stories where they can teach each other social learning. There's another study. This is actually out of Florida. Down the road, a 3-year study to figure out dolphins have the ability to understand the concept of hidden objects.
And how did they prove that?
Well, this is, the scientists went out and they were studying this, and this is ability that's like for infants. If like a 3-month-old, if you hide something from them, they think it's disappeared forever. They don't know what's gone on. When they reach about a year old, if you hide something, they can sort of figure out it's still there.
Yeah.
Well, they figured out a test which took a very long time to sort of figure out, random objective tests. They hid their favorite toy, which was an alligator, in 3 trash cans on the deck, and they came back within intervals of a couple minutes to see if they could still pick the right trash can where this alligator was at, and they were able to do that. So this is the first for dolphins. Dogs have figured this out, parrots, gorillas, and chimpanzees. So to that list you can add now dolphins. But don't worry too much. Again, those people are worried about dolphins taking over the world. They made it more complicated. They had an alligator in a cylinder, and they put the cylinder in the trash can. They emptied the cylinder and took it out. The dolphins could never figure that out.
Oh, really?
So there are some limitations to dolphin intelligence, but they are still pretty smart.
But if we fit them with the lasers, there is still potential for them to rule.
Yes, they no telling where this will go.
Jeff, thanks so much. Have another great fortnight. We'll catch you in too.
Thanks for having me.
Jeff Dudas, editor of underwatertimes.com, joining us there live from Miami this morning. One now.